This video is sponsored by JPFans. I know there has been a lot of discussion surrounding this service, and if you're concerned, please do watch my ad segment as I explain a few things. Kamen Rider Zeztz has been killing it lately, and there have been so many new toys since the last time we discussed Zeztz, so I wanted to take a look at a couple of them. Primarily the Zeztz Exdream buckle, which upgrades the original driver into a badass new form. And we're also going to take a look at the Dawn Breaker, the driver used by the third and most unhinged rider, Kamen Rider Dawn. These are probably some of my favorite Zeztz toys released so far, and I'm just loving both the show and toy line. But before we get into the drivers themselves, we need to talk about today's sponsor, JPFans. JPFans is a proxy service, which is probably the weirdest kind of website you can buy from. A proxy service acts as a middleman between you and Japanese online stores, like Mercari, Amazon, and Surugaya. There are two main steps for ordering on JPFans. The first is ordering your items. I love to shop on Mercari because you can find great deals on secondhand items. When you order an item, it'll be sent to the JPFans warehouse, where they can store it for you for up to 60 days. That way you can make multiple orders and bundle items together, which is better for shipping. Keep in mind that because JPFans is a middleman, refunds are not guaranteed. The JPFans purchasing agent will attempt to negotiate with the original seller to get you a refund, but it is up to that original seller on whether they will accept a return or not. The second step is paying for international shipping. International shipping has to be calculated after ordering the items, because they have to price out the shipping after packaging and weighing the items. And I also have to mention that international shipping can be super expensive on account of the items coming from a whole different country. But I do have some tips. First of all, there's a calculator which can help you estimate the shipping cost based on the weight of the items you order. Keep in mind this is an estimate, and you won't know the price for sure until your items are packed and weighed, but it does help you know the range you can expect. Another tip is that the most reliably cheap international shipping service is ECMS. If an option for ECMS does not appear for you, message customer support and ask what you can do to get ECMS as an option. If you are not in the United States, I recommend avoiding UPS. They are an American company, so the price to ship is much higher if you're not in the US. Again, if ECMS is not available, message support to see if they can help you. Sorry if this ad is overly long. Cards on the table, there has been a lot of drama regarding JPFans recently, and I want to make it absolutely clear that the service is completely legitimate. I would not advertise a company if they were actively scamming people. A ton of the issues online are coming from people who just don't understand proxy services, and that is completely understandable, because JPFans has been doing a lot of marketing, and I don't think the actual service has been explained very well by content creators. That statement absolutely includes myself, and if you've ever seen my ads and have been confused by the website, I sincerely apologize. I'm doing my best from now on to explain the service properly, and I'm working with JPFans to create stricter guidelines on making advertisements for the service. If you do want to use JPFans, please consider using my link below. If you do so, you'll get some coupons. And if you redeem code dumbjake, you'll get a 20% shipping discount coupon. Okay, enough yapperoni and cheese. Let's talk about awesome Japanese children's toys. So something interesting about the Zeztz driver, but that I didn't know before I started getting into the actual toys themselves, is that it has a removable faceplate. Kind of like a PS4 or something, you know, or a 3DS back in the day. So you can take the faceplate off, and before the Exdream, the only thing that could have gone on it is the Nox Knight buckle, which changes it to be Nox Knight's driver, which he used for like 4 episodes, and then he got the Nox driver. But with the Exdream, we get this very cool red and gold faceplate, which just totally changes the look of the driver and makes it so much more heroic looking, I'd say. Like, the normal one is awesome, like I like the default look, but just this red and gold with the green accents from the original driver colors, just, ooh, I love it, I love it. And something interesting, actually, revealing a little bit of the tricks of it. So something interesting I never realized is that there's actually a little button in here. I can't even get it with my fat finger, but there's a little button right here. So we're gonna turn on Zeztz driver. So I'll put this on to show you something. Nothing, okay? It doesn't make a noise. But if you put on the Exdream driver buckle, it makes a little noise because it clicks that button. I don't know what that changes in general. I don't know if it changes any of the normal sounds or if it's literally just for like a cool sound for the final form, you know, upgrading it. But it is very, very cool. So let's just get into it. Along with the buckle, we also have the Exdream capsum, which gotta say this might be my favorite capsum overall. First of all, it looks like a little UFO, which is adorable. And when we first see Baku at the end of Kamen Rider Gav, he actually gets like struck by a UFO. A UFO like shows up out of nowhere and blasts him with a laser. It's so random. And we had no idea what his deal was when we saw that, so that was such a random moment. We now know that he has like crazy bad luck, and a UFO blasting him was sort of part of that. But this capsule is really cool. It's got like a disco ball effect where it's all sparkly going on here, and it's got like the refracted little polygonal, I don't know what you call it, plastic. And inside you can see a very buff Kamen Rider Zeztz Exdream form. He's so buff in there. It's kind of hard to see on camera and in real life just because of like the disco ball effect sort of obscuring it, but it is pretty cool. And it is a fun like fidget toy. You can just spin it. Yep, just spin it around. And it's really fun. So yeah, I really dig this capsule. I've just kept this kind of on my desk, spinning it around. It does take batteries. Extreme Rise Capsule, that's what it's called, sorry. So if you spin it like this, sort of just makes that noise. Doesn't really mean anything to my knowledge, but it will make noise and make that nice color go, which, yeah, you know, me, I'm a sucker for rainbow LEDs, so I love how it looks. So let's go ahead and just get to henshing, right? So let's go ahead. Okay, so a lot to unpack with that henshin. So first of all, the Mezzomero part, I love how he gets progressively like louder and louder as he says it. These parts flip up. There's just little buttons that release them that the capsule like presses down when you spin it. So that's how that works. And then you can see that there's like plastic here sort of obscuring the lights and just making them look more, I don't know the word, but just kind of blurry, I guess. And the plastic is sparkly just like the Exdream capsule, which is cool. Really fun, really fun. I love the way they did this. So we can do this. And it'll make that noise if we hit the trigger. Nice little jingle. So that's our regular finishing move attack, but just like the regular Zeztz driver, yeah, if you hit the trigger 4 times in a row, it'll do the Rise Great Over Banish rather than the Rise Great Banish, which is, you know, an even more powerful finishing move, which is fun. The Exdream capsule and the driver are just too fun. I love the look of them. I love how it all looks together. Obviously, it's got that issue of, like, the final form driver just sticking out a lot and just being kind of big, but not even that bad, to be honest. Like, the regular driver itself has not changed that much. It's just got these parts, which, again, add to the look. And if you turn it this way, you can see that it does form kind of a Z, just like so much of Kamen Rider Zetz's iconography. There's Z's everywhere, all over him. You just gotta look for them. But yeah, I really, really love this driver. I do want to check one thing. I want to check like a regular capsum and see if the driver buckle cover has like changed something about the regular capsum noises. So we just have regular impact here. So interesting. So yes, clicking that button definitely changes the sound. Let me do a different one. Here I have the most powerful capsum of all time, Recovery. Okay, awesome. So I gotta admit, I'm not like versed enough. I had just got Recovery in like a bundle, so I'm not super versed in some of these other capsums, but it does the Mezzamero where it gets louder and louder, and then it also says prog recovery, I think, like progress, or I don't know. But it says something recovery, which is very cool. So I'll have the subtitles down below to clarify whatever it's saying. But yeah, I really dig this upgrade. I, in general, think the Zeztz driver is one of my favorite drivers that I've ever got to play with, like, or ever seen for that matter. And I've seen quite a few at this point. You know, I've reviewed the Forza driver and others, Gov driver. And I don't know, the gimmick item, I love the capsums, and I love the special edition capsums as well. One thing about this is that, I mean, unless I'm doing something wrong, you cannot put the dual mare capsum on with this buckle on. Yeah, it just stops it. The buckle is too thick, so you cannot use the dual mare capsum with the Exdream like driver, but you know, that's fine. I gotta admit, I think the dual mare is probably one of the weakest parts of the Zeztz driver for me personally. So yeah, I really dig this upgrade, and I'm really happy. I've seen there's gonna be a Kamen Rider Zeztz movie, and he's gonna have a special driver in it, and it looks like a repaint of this driver that's blue and white. And he's got like a modified Exdream capsum that has all of the agent numbers on it, so that looks really cool, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if they're gonna put that out. If they do, it'll likely be a P Bandai item, which I don't know if I'm gonna get, quite honestly. I don't think I need it to complete my collection, but if I can get my hands on it, I will. But yeah, really love the Exdream driver. Now let's take a look at the Dawnbreaker. So here it is, and I gotta say I'm a lot more impressed with the Dawnbreaker than I was expecting. The character design for Dawn kind of confuses me because he's got a large, like, thing on his chest that has a hole in it for a capsum, but it is not his driver. The sword is his driver. That can probably be explained with some lore stuff I'm not gonna get into here because, you know, I'm not gonna try and spoil anything I can avoid spoiling, but I do have my theories on why that is. But this sword driver is really cool and kind of exceeded my expectations in a lot of ways. So let's just go ahead and turn it on. The switch is here. Just like all the other things, it just says its name when you turn it on. And yeah, gotta say I dig the design. I like the clear purple edges on the sword. I think that looks really cool. The sword handle design is obviously pretty weird, but, you know, we'll get into that with the henshin. And, of course, we have our capsum holder. So, I like it, man. It is much, much bigger in the show, obviously, just like every other, you know, DX roleplay toy. But as a sword, it's more obvious, I'd say. But honestly, the design, it kind of lends itself to being like a pair of daggers or a dagger. Like I could see a rogue in World of Warcraft using a weapon like this. So yeah, I don't really mind the size. I think it works still, just the way they designed it. But let's take a look at his main capsum. This is the Punish capsum, I believe. So the image is like a dragon bursting through the wall. Let me try and get this right. Yeah, something like that. And the way they molded it is pretty cool. It's like pink with some purple marbling detail. It's not crazy, but it is nice. I like that. I like a unique looking capsum here. But it is a regular capsum. It's not like the Lord capsums. It is a normal capsum. Let's just get into it, man. So yeah, that is the henshin. You basically split the sword apart into two swords. So what's cool is that the trigger here, it'll make sword noises. So when you have it split apart, it'll make two slashing noises. You know? Like that. But if you combine it, it makes one slashing noise. So that's fun. And you can just combine and take them apart as you want. Once he's henshined, or you're henshined, I guess. Yeah, it's nice. And some cool detailing I should point out is that this looks like a pair of eyes, like a mask, and then once you take it off, you can see there is the Punish dragon design here, which just looks really awesome. Really cool looking sword. The dagger alone is not that impressive, obviously. You know, it's fine, but it doesn't make any noises or anything. It doesn't have any electronics. It just comes off, and then you got the extra sword to play with. Kind of looks like a weird butter knife or something. Okay, so there are two main attacks you can do. If you have the swords separated, you can rotate the capsum. And then hit the trigger. And it does a bunch of sword slashing noises. If you combine them, and then do that, hit the trigger, and that's kind of like his final attack. So yeah, pretty cool. Now, the thing that really surprised me about the Dawnbreaker is actually all of the noises it can make. So if you've had the Nox driver, you'll know that it doesn't really have that many sound options. It's got the Nightmare capsums, obviously. You can use these guys, Nox's unique capsums. And it has Erase in it. But any other capsum, unless I'm mistaken, any other capsum like Impact, it's just going to say a generic phrase. But the Dawnbreaker actually has a ton of noises. So we're going to take out Punish, and let's go ahead and just put in Impact. Okay. It's got a different jingle. all of these other capsums are more like attack capsums. You don't really hinge in with impact on the Dawnbreaker. Let's take a look at Erase. Yeah, so we got Erase. Let's take a look. I have not tried these. I'm wondering if this will work, a Nightmare Capsum. So I imagine I just gotta do this. Okay, so it doesn't even identify that it is the Shadow Nightmare Capsum. It just knows it's a Nightmare. So I imagine any Nightmare Capsum, it's just gonna say Nightmare. Nightmare, Nightmare, Nightmare. One other one I have is my cake one. My special cake Zeztz one. Lucky. Ooh. Oh. I like that jingle. Wow. Oh, it's an actual Henshin. Aha. So here's what's happening. So this one is considered a legendary rider. So let me go ahead. Where's my legendary? Let me go ahead and grab one of my newer legend riders. I have Kamen Rider Ryuki here. So if we do this. Yeah, so you can henshin with the legendary riders, and he actually says, like, all of the names, like Ryuki and Revice and Gav and all that, so that's really, really cool. And the jingle is different and sounds awesome. I really like it, and I like that he says, Dawn, Dawn, Dawn! Like, just the cadence and everything is different. Yeah, I really, really am surprised by this driver, because I wasn't expecting to like it, quite honestly. You know, it's a sword, which I'm not really into the weapon drivers usually, but this one really, really exceeded my expectations. So last thing I want to check out, I don't know if it'll work, but I did want to check out the Exdream Capsum. Okay, so the Exdream Capsum is making a lot of noise. But the Dawnbreaker is also making noise, so let's see what happens when we henshin. Okay, I'll have to look up what he said. It sounded like Rise, Dawn Edge, Get Lost, or something like that. So, I don't know if this Exdream Capsum is activating, like, noises meant for an upgrade for Dawn's sword in the future, or if it just makes a noise for the Exdream Capsum, but we'll find out, I guess. But yeah, that is the Dawnbreaker. Really, really enjoy this weapon. Yeah, Awesome toy. So that was the Exdream buckle and the Dawnbreaker, my little show-offs, reviews, not complete because, as I'm sure some people have already commented, I missed some stuff like the Exdream capsum in the Dawnbreaker, that double edge get lost. That is actually a sound you can make with any capsum. I just did not do it right, so I didn't make that sound at all until I did the Exdream capsum. So sorry about that, that's my bad. I do plan to make a much better overview video in the future where I go over like every toy, every capsum, as much as I can anyway. There's like 1,000 capsums, but like all the main like lore relevant capsums and toys. So that's my plan for the future. Thank you to JPFans for sponsoring this video. Again, please understand the service before you use it. And again, you can use my link in the description to get some coupons, and you can redeem code dumbjake to get a 20% shipping discount coupon. All right, y'all, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.